Now more than ever, innovative technologies are fueling change and sparking new ways of thinking. Collaboration between corporations and startups is key to staying at the forefront of these trends. However, finding the right startups can be expensive, time-consuming, and ineffective. But Plug and Play is here to help. As a corporate partner, you will gain access to a whole ecosystem of innovation. Discover startups that meet your tech interests. Stay updated on the latest trends and network with industry peers. We will help you during every stage of your innovation journey, no matter where you are and where you want to go. Get in touch today.
Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to our Powering the Future Innovations in Energy meetup today. Thank you all for joining us. We will begin our meetup in just a few minutes. People are still attending. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Idil and I work as a program manager at Plug and Play Istanbul. Our focus today is on the latest innovation trends in the energy efficiency field, with presentation from 5 top-tier startups, an inspirational keynote speech, and a panel discussion. Without further ado, I would like to invite our country and regional director, Lale, to give her welcome speech.
Hi, everyone. Idil, thank you very much for the introduction. Like Idil has just mentioned, my name is Lale Can Gözübüyük, and I'm the Turkey country and regional director at Plug and Play. And this is our first week that we organize with our founding anchor partner with Enerjisa. This is our first event, let's put it that way. And today's event represents, it's the first event of the Smart Cities vertical. And our theme today is, as selected by our partner Enerjisa, is powering the future, innovations in energy efficiency. Well, we hear everybody talking about energy efficiency these days. I mean, economists, environmentalists, governments, engineers, health officials. It is a hugely important theme and it impacts every single living being on planet Earth. And we want to lower our energy bills. We want sustainable growth. We want to leave a better planet for our children. We care about biological diversity. We want to lead healthier lives, and energy efficiency sits right at the very center of such topics. And yes, technology is the #1 driver in energy efficiency. So, but today we will have a look at some technologies that can help, such as data analytics, AI, sensors and IoT, predictive maintenance solutions, energy optimization, and storage. Well, it's our typical meetup day format. It's not the first time Plug and Play is doing an event in Turkey. So if you've joined before, you know what it is like. There'll be a few startups. This time we have 5 startups that are here to present, and they came from all around the world. And we will have an insightful keynote speech like Idil just mentioned. And there'll be a panel. I'll actually moderate that panel, so I'll be back in a bit. The topic of the panel is going to be, again, latest trends in energy efficiency. Maybe just a quick reminder of what we do here at Plug and Play. I mean, we are an exclusive innovation club. We are a huge network of corporate startups and investors, universities, governments, and all the other stakeholders that actually have some stake in innovation. There's this powerful ecosystem. It actually can make an impact. For more information, we have limited space here. You can check Plug and Play's website. You can have a look at our YouTube channel. There may be like thousands of events and recordings there. Yeah, let us know if you have any questions, if you want to get in touch, or if you want to follow our events. Yeah, let us know. And this is basically all I have to say for now. I hope you have an informative and enjoyable meetup day. Now I'll pass the stage to Oğuzcan Samsun. He's the Strategy and Business Development Director at Enerjisa. He'll also welcome you as the co-host of this Focus Week. Thank you very much.
So, hello everyone, dear participants, our energy and innovation ecosystem partners. My name is Oğuzcan Samsun. As the head of Enerjisa, Strategy, Business Development and M&A, I would like to welcome you all to our Focus Week, Powering the Future Innovations in Energy Efficiency. Today, we have a really exciting sessions to meet and learn from energy efficiency startups and experts, which I believe will construct a crucial role in the future of energy because today, energy sector is transforming with a great pace through sustainability, decarbonization, digitalization, and decentralization trends, which also creates huge opportunities for innovation ecosystem. And the main reason behind this piece is energy sector, unfortunately, responsible for almost 3/4 of global emissions. So that's why we need a critical and a fast transformation to overcome it. However, we have a trilemma in there because sustainability, the cost and pricing, and also security of the supply cannot be maximized at the same time. But I believe in this trilemma, the energy efficiency has a key role to unlock the solution, and by decarbonizing the energy and also combating the climate change. So that's why we put energy efficiency as an integrated part of our strategy and our aim to provide people cleaner and also smarter, more sustainable energy. And as Enerjisa, which we are the leading player in Turkish energy market, in addition to our electricity distribution and retail business in 14 cities for 21 million people, we provide sustainable customer solutions to our customers in distributed generations, e-mobility, and also energy efficiency. And since today our focus is in energy efficiency today, I would like to mention once again that energy efficiency is more than a business for us because of course we provide process solutions, lighting, heat solutions, green products to our customers. And additionally, it's a key part of our sustainability way and model because within the impact of planet we create value to all ecosystem, and it also covers our social awareness aim for the energy efficiency as well because as an example for the primary schools we create a project I'm product protecting the energy of the world, and since 2010 we are educating the people and we are educating the society to improve our efficiency in energy because we believe that in energy efficiency we can succeed only by creating an ecosystem of partners who would like to contribute this area with us. And as Lali mentioned, energy efficiency is a very central project and you are all welcomed in this journey. And thanks to Plug and Play also, we have extended our innovation reach. And together we have founded Smart City Ecosystem in Turkey. And since January, we have met with 88 startups. And I believe this will increase in the next phases and lead to strong collaborations in the future. So for the following minutes, I wish you a session with a high added value and triggering new collaborations. And I will leave the stage once again to Idil in order to lead us through the flow. And thank you all.
Thank you, Ozcan, for this insightful welcome speech. As we are moving to our next agenda item, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Lee Krevat, CEO of Krevat Energy Foundation. With over 30 years of experience in the energy and technology industries, Lee is a highly respected figure who has made significant contributions to the field. He has been twice named one of the top 100 movers and shakers influencing the smart grid market by Green Tech Media, as well as twice recognized as a top 12 utility mover and shaker by Intelligent Utility magazine. Unfortunately, he was not able to attend the event in person because of the time difference, but he shared the recording of his presentation with us. Without further ado, let's listen to Lee's presentation and his valuable insights about clean energy.
Huge thank you to Plug and Play Istanbul for having me as a speaker. I wish I could be there in person, and I almost was. Although I recorded this a week before Powering the Future, I was actually in Istanbul, well, at the airport 4 days ago, and the lounge was great. At least I hear it will be great. And in 2 weeks, I'll be passing through again. Just a little bit about me. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon with a degree in computer science, moved out west to Silicon Valley, where I spent 14 years, 2 as a principal in a startup company, followed by 20 years at Sempra Energy, and now, the last 5, as CEO of Krevat Energy Innovations, where I sit on boards and advisory boards, helping a dozen or so startup companies that are helping to mitigate climate change. I also have a podcast called The Climate Champions and a YouTube channel with the same name. Check it out. It's mostly about powering the future. And when it comes to powering the future, Ted Craver of Edison International said in 2010, so 13 years ago, the power industry faces more change in the next 10 years than we've seen in the last 100. And he was right. But it's time to strap on your seatbelt and hope your EV has airbags, because the power industry is only beginning to see what change is all about. Not only is the power industry changing, but the human race is at an inflection point in many ways. During our lifetime, we're witnessing basically the first few decades where the rate of population growth starts to go negative. We're seeing new diseases, but also the capability to quickly develop vaccines. We're seeing war, but witnessing much of the world trying to come together. We're experiencing the effects of a changing climate, but are innovating tools to mitigate the impact. But success is far from guaranteed. What we do in our lifetimes will determine whether we reach that Star Trek type prosperity. Okay, back to energy. An interesting fact about electricity, just like a happy life, it needs to be balanced, generation and load. Until fairly recently, this was easy. We electrified stuff like refrigerators, and then we centrally burned stuff. We electrified more stuff, TVs, more centralized burning, then air conditioning, and so on. But now we clearly see the effects of taking millions of years of stored carbon out of the ground and putting it into our atmosphere. Luckily, we weren't at this point 50 years ago when we didn't have the tools to do something about it. We do now, and they're being deployed for good reason in waves. I use the model of waves because while one wave is ahead of another, they're all moving at the same time, and it's a long, long journey. Wave one is solar and wind. They're out in the lead, falling in price when there aren't trade wars or supply chain issues, and being deployed in greater numbers every year. And startups are pushing these technologies even further. For example, I'm on the board of Pi Energy. They make solar less than a micron thick, flexible, inexpensive, and no supply chain issues. Another reason solar and wind are out in front is because until they make up a significant percentage of generation, the existing electric grid can handle the intermittency. At 10, 20, 30, even 50%, traditional spinning generation can react quickly enough to avoid significant electric quality issues or collapse, something that can happen at higher levels. So up steps wave two, energy storage. At lower levels of solar and wind, the grid didn't need it very much. So lagging investment, technology innovation, and manufacturing optimization was okay. But happily, we are past that point. And in large part, due to the requirement of batteries to power electric vehicles, the world is now seeing significant investment in storage. Batteries with minimal software can slow the ramp rate of energy generation intermittency due to cloud cover or the wind stopping and starting, which gives traditional generation a chance to react. Also, batteries can store and discharge when there's too much or too little renewable energy on the system, and even help to lower customer costs by providing an opportunity to arbitrage or reduce demand charges. And with wave three, batteries can provide even more benefits, as can wind and solar, with the aid of fast grid control. Software products have been coming to market that orchestrate a combination of solar, wind, storage, and traditional generation to enable even higher percentages of renewable energy by ensuring that frequency and voltage stay in range. Even 100% renewables is possible with the presence of enough year-round wind or sun. And during sunny weeks or months, 100% renewable grids are becoming more and more common. Many of these grids are island microgrids. In addition to air quality issues and the high cost of diesel, they can more easily justify the investment. Still, many of these microgrids depend on some level of carbon-based generation just in case there isn't enough solar or wind or money for batteries, especially since these islands generally already own these generators. And that is where my final wave, long-term storage, comes in. Our least expensive and dangerously common long-term storage solutions are carbon-based. Coal, natural gas, oil, they're comparatively inexpensive, relatively easy to take out of the ground where they've been developing for millions of years, shipped worldwide, and used to make power exactly when power is needed, not intermittently. I hope you caught me when I said comparatively inexpensive, because not included in that price is the true full cost to society in terms of pollution, health, and of course, climate change. But while it is admirable and inspirational to see zero GHG energy goals from some cities, countries, and even companies, without a fourth wave of reasonably priced long-term energy storage, civilization will continue to burn fossil fuels. And while the fourth energy technology wave is trailing the other three, you can see it forming. There's significant investment and it's growing, both from governments and venture, and an array of potential technologies, such as hydrogen, various battery chemistries, flow batteries, even building concrete towers and generating energy when the bricks are lowered. Gravity. Until these costs come down, it's going to be very difficult to get to 100% greenhouse gas-free technology. So that's the four ways that are changing and will continue to change generation. And I know I didn't include nuclear, oceans, and some other forms of generation. These are waves that are out in the distance. When they are cost competitive, reliable, safe, and secure, I'll talk more about them. I strongly believe we need all arrows in the quiver when they are ready to compete. But what about the other side of the equation? Balance. There's potential for tremendous innovation on the load side as well. Some of that innovation comes from intelligent systems and some from new loads that ride the four waves. I'm very excited about load side balance, shaping the load. While energy nerds like me have long talked about incentivizing customers to use energy based on pricing, it is not yet delivered in the way we had hoped. I once developed a day-ahead hourly rate with the awesome Cindy Fang back at San Diego Gas and Electric. And both of us couldn't be more excited. For electric vehicles, more on that later, it actually worked very well. But as a whole house rate, let's just say on the first day over 90 degrees, my wife told me what I could do with our Energy Smart rate. I put the air conditioner on high and called the utility. But still, we've come a long way. First, Energy Star appliances have done a great job from an energy efficiency perspective, keeping load from growing too much. And more recently, LED light bulbs have changed the game on lighting, so much less expensive and less heavy on the grid. But those items don't really help with balance, since they pretty much reduce usage without taking supply into account. To really shape the grid, to balance renewable generation, it is the smart loads that will make it happen. But smart loads need more dynamic, smart rates, not the fixed rates most of us have today. With fixed rates, there's no reason for electric customers to change their behavior. With time of use rates, where there are usually a few blocks of time each day and for different seasons that have different rates, there can be a change of behavior for both humans and machines. But if you take it a little further, transactive energy, where rates are constantly changing based on supply and demand, you get humans that aren't too happy or able to deal with changing rates, but smart devices that can really help customers save money and keep the grid balanced. Once these rates are in place, time of use or transactive, devices need to keep customers from dealing with the complexity and also save them money. Enough money to make it matter. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS is extremely important. Loads that are naturally flexible, like electric vehicles, fleets, even swimming pools, are pretty easy because it usually doesn't matter when they're charged, used, or the pumps run, as long as the pool is clean. And even more exciting and important about electric vehicles, they aren't just load. They're also batteries and can perform the same function as stationary storage and more. In addition to helping the grid with power quality issues, vehicle to grid, they can also act as the centerpiece of a home microgrid when the utility isn't delivering power. I work with a company, Connect DER, that has a meter adapter that sits between the meter and the meter socket. It enables vehicles to charge and discharge and also provides safe isolation from the grid when it's down. Other loads can be more tricky. Dishwashers, refrigerators, cooling and heating systems have to take customer needs and preferences to heart. One or two mistakes, dishes not getting cleaned for a family celebration, refrigerators spoiling food, or the house being too hot or too cold, could result in customers abandoning their technology. Even with electric fleets, technology companies focus on optimizing the cost of charging and even discharging to make money servicing the grid. But according to a company I advise, Move, M-O-E-V, customers care much more about having the vehicles charged and ready when they need them. So in summary, the 4 waves of greenhouse gas-free energy systems are here and growing. Solar and wind are improving all the time. Batteries are following close behind. Grid controllers are evolving to optimize renewable energy and even enable grids that are 100% renewable. And yes, we still do need less expensive long-term storage, but innovation is underway. That, coupled with more complex rates that incentivize people, but mostly systems, to use energy when it's less expensive and cleaner, in addition to flexible loads like EVs to ride the waves, will bring us a decarbonized electric grid. Thank you very much for your time. If you like the discussion, please check out my podcast or YouTube channel, The Climate Champions. I love feedback, so please reach out. Just head over to Krevat Energy Innovations and drop me an email. Thanks again and enjoy the conference.
Hi, everyone. I'm Oktay from the Ventures team at Plug and Play Istanbul. I'm excited to be your moderator for this part of the event, where we will listen to startup pitches operating in the energy efficiency field. So energy efficiency is a topic affecting everyone, especially with increasing concern over climate change and the need to reduce our carbon footprint. Improving energy efficiency has become more and more important than ever. Today, we will learn about this topic through the 5 international startups founded by experts in this field. These 5 will be joining us from the UK, Spain, Canada, Italy, and the US. So without further ado, let us start with startup introductions you've been waiting for. Please welcome our first startup of the evening, AEInnova. Founded in Barcelona in 2015, they repurpose industrial waste heat, creating negative carbon energy to power. So I will leave the stage to Raul to hear more about their solutions.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Raul Aragonés, one of the founders of Alternative Energy Innovations, and I'm going to introduce you what are the major challenges for the low carbon society, digital transformation, and thanks for Plug and Play Enerjisa for this opportunity. First of all, let me introduce you what are the major problems for the Industry 4.0 right now are mainly that big industries need energy to transform raw materials into final products. And just in the European Union, the 21% of our energy needs is lost in form of industrial waste heat, like you see here in this image. Also, so there's a big energy inefficiency in this kind of industries, but also when they want to become more digital, they're applying right now reactive or preventive maintenance, as this kind of maintenance are expensive, inefficient, and also have safety concerns for the employees. When they want to move a step forward to incorporate predictive maintenance, they commonly use wireless sensor network that are fully powered by lithium batteries. And these kind of devices, due to the limited lifetime of these batteries, has very low wireless coverage, just 50 meters as maximum, has very low data rate, that means send data maybe once a day, once an hour, are hard to maintain due to the recurrent costs of replacing batteries, doesn't operate in explosive areas like oil and gas refineries, like biogas plants, chemical plants, paper plants, soybean plants, and also the heat of heat-intensive industries like the iron and steel affects dramatically the lifetime of the battery. And finally, lithium battery has a very bad environmental impact from the extraction until the recycling. What AEInnova does is innovation in the perspective of the energy. So we are able to convert industrial waste heat into clean and negative carbon electricity. And we have presented the first in the market, batteryless and free of maintenance Internet of Things devices. So in this case, we plug the thermoelectric generator that converts heat into electricity in the hot spot. Then we will install vibration sensors in the machines we want to monitor. Also, we install a very long-range wireless edge computing device that reads data from the sensor and sends data in real time to our cloud platform. And this system that is called the AVIS at the right, the cloud platform, and Indua at the left, is the first autonomous system in the market. This solution is net zero, so we are using a waste, the waste heat. It's plug and play, simple to install and attach, has no frills, so never you change batteries and never you maintain anything. Has no wirings, so real-time monitoring, and also very long-range wireless. We are using LoRaWAN up to 14 kilometers or narrowband IoT communication networks up to 23 kilometers, and has a very low payback. We have projects running in the European Union, in the energy sectors, in the oil and gas, in the chemical, iron, steel, aluminium. So all in these big energy demanding industries, AEInnova has developed projects here in the European Union. You're right to have a project in a biogas plant in a Pre-Zero. You will easily identify the thermoelectric device that is attached to the hot surface that powers the IoT device, and this powers and reads data from this vibration sensor that is attached in the motor we're monitoring. This, for example, is another use case of Enel in a coal power plant here in Europe. We're monitoring temperatures in a collector of ashes to determine the level of this collection of ashes in this coal power plant. We monitor temperatures to identify the thermoelectric generator that converts heat into electricity, the temperature monitor, and the IoT device. And the same in this oil and gas refinery of Cepsa. We monitor this pump, and also we are harvesting the heat, powering the IoT, and then reading data from the vibration sensor. These three examples are free, self-power, and autonomous sensors. But also we're innovating in other kind of energies. In this case, for example, we're monitoring these kind of ventilators that are in the ceiling of the tunnels. We have developed the first autonomous sensor fully powered by wind in order to avoid this kind of accidents that happen in the Stockholm highway when a 300 kilograms ventilator comes from the ceiling due to the vibrations. So we are passing from manual monitoring in this kind of vibrations to completely autonomous system to monitor these kind of vibrations, just using this micro wind turbine that is moved by the blades of the big ventilators that are installed in the top of the ceilings. And for example, this other use case, we are monitoring volumes in silos of cereals, grain, sand. This device uses the protocol of narrowband IoT. It's a band of the 4 and 5G. We monitor volumes with LiDAR, and this system is fully sun power. So also no battery, no maintenance. Finally, our company has a product that is specialized of energy harvesting. We generate big amount of energy from the heat. This solution is inspired in the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory radioisotope thermoelectric generator. So we are able converting heat of processes into clean electricity that is returned to the electric grid. Unfortunately, the solution right now is still not commercial due to the large payback, but we are working to reduce the payback up to 4 or 5 years in a couple of years more. But this is the first waste heat system that is fully batteryless. We have investors, mainly the European Commission, EIC Fund, and Energy are one of the main investors of AEInnova. We have developed this solution thanks to grants with the European Union from LIFE, H2020, and so on. We have several international awards, for example, 2 from the ADIPEC Oil and Gas Fair for decarbonizing the oil and gas industry, another, for example, from EDF, Electricity Defense, the Pulse Award of this year for decarbonizing the power energy sector. And we have partners right now, projects running in the Middle East, Japan, and Europe, and looking for potential players and investors in Turkey. So we're looking for engineering companies to deploy our technology in your market, also manufacturing companies to manufacture the solution in Turkey and reduce the carbon footprint of the transportation and create local richness to the population. And we are in investment round of 5 million euros. So we have 1.5 million compromise, and we are looking for 3.5 million more just to grow in these potential markets. And we expect an IPO in just 2 years in the Euronext Paris. And this is my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. I will be very keen to answer your questions if you have. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Raul. It was great hearing more about AEInnova. If we receive any questions, we will forward them to you and put you in touch.
Thank you very much.
So as a next startup, I would like to introduce you to QiO Technologies, which was founded in the UK in 2015. QiO Technologies is an advanced analytics and artificial intelligence software company that enables global industrials and manufacturers to substantially increase operational efficiency and productivity, as well as improve safety and enable new high-margin net revenue streams. We'll hear more details from David, who is the Director of DC and Telecom of QiO Technologies. David, whenever you're ready, please go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon to everybody. I want to share the story of QiO. Before I do that, let's just talk a little bit about AI and IoT, the Internet of Things. Artificial intelligence is now an integral part of everyday life, as also is the Internet of Things, your doorbell, sensors on your boiler, and much more. Now, IoT generates a huge amount of data, and AI offers an incredible ability to make sense of that data, to solve real-world problems, such as improving energy efficiency, reducing carbon emission, and of course, ChatGPT, that I think my daughter may be using for her homework. Who are QiO? We are an industrial IoT AI-based software products company. We support energy-intensive and asset-heavy industries who have a profound impact on climate change due to their high carbon emissions. Our purpose here and our mission is to support these industries on their journey to achieving sustainability and net zero. So what are the two key problems that QiO address? Firstly, it's energy efficiency. Now, energy accounts for over 40% of costs in the manufacture of a product. And secondly, we are addressing carbon emissions. If factories were run efficiently, about 7% of carbon emitted could be saved. That amounts to over 3.5 billion tons of CO2e. Now, we are disrupting two major sectors, manufacturing and also data centers, by combining the power of AI with our industry expertise. Our Foresight Optima product delivers energy savings and GHG emissions reductions, and that's across glass, cement, steel, automotive, and other industries. We're delivering energy savings of between 5 and 15%. Now, with data centers, which currently consume around 3% of electricity and also generate around 2% of carbon emissions globally, Foresight Optima DC Plus is a disruptive and game-changing solution built in partnership with Intel, and it delivers energy optimization of servers within data centers, providing up to a 50% energy saving, which is quite incredible. Now, what has QiO achieved so far in delivering energy and carbon reductions? Now, we have a long list of customers, but just to give you an insight, we have Frontera, the largest construction material manufacturer in the UK, with 11 factories. We're saving them around 7 to 8% annually. We also have Continental Tires, the leading tyre manufacturer with 25 factories. We are delivering energy savings and production process savings of around 20%. Likewise, we have British Telecom. We're saving them 14% on their data centers, network and contact centers with an incredibly fast payback time. We also have Intel, which we have developed disruptive technology in which we can reduce carbon emissions of Intel devices by, in some cases, up to 52%. And finally, we also have Rolls-Royce, in which we monitor all of the business jet engine fleet, and we orchestrate end-to-end workflows, reducing their maintenance costs considerably. Now, as the world rapidly embraces the impact of climate change, we are a company at the forefront of this challenge, driven by a restless and relentless innovation to drive digital transformation, but to create value now. Intent is no longer enough, and also to enable clear and measurable impact now. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present today. Please find my contact details. If anybody would like to get in touch, I'd be happy to share more details about our solutions. Thank you.
We will now move on with our next startup from Italy. Founded in 2013, Vale Energy is an energy efficiency management system to supervise, control, and manage complex energy production and industrial assets. I leave the stage to Klaus to hear more about Vale Energy.
Good afternoon to the audience. Hello, guys. Greetings from Italy. I'm Klaus Kress. I'm one of the founders of the company, which was founded in 2013 in the very north of Italy in Bolzano. Do you see my screen? Can you see the presentation?
All good.
Yeah, all good. Full screen, perfect. So, we have been founded with a mission to support European and global companies in optimizing energy processes and capturing unused or wasted energy. And this is what we have achieved since more than 8-9 years. We only have 2 founders and owners at the moment. It's my colleague Mariana Benetti, responsible for all technical issues in the company, and myself looking for sales and operations. And we have 15 years of experience of work together. We have a strong team sitting in 3 locations in Italy: Rome, Venezia, and Bolzano. And we are serving all the European industry and production facilities. The drivers of the global crisis are pressure on gas and energy prices, climate change and ecological concerns, energy poverty and insecurity. And since now 1 year, we are facing a boom of requests and projects and orders. The total market is booming like hell, and from all over the world, as also my before speakers have told you, the market is increasing and the demand is increasing. We are mainly equipped with our software tool, construction real estate corporate. We are serving more than 15 luxury hotels in Germany and Italy. We have agricultural foods corporations, gas, water corporations. We have a big contract with Italgas to serve their energy production, especially with the CHPs. We have all kind of manufacturing corporates, transport and mobility corporate. We have public administration installed the system, hospitality and wellness corporate, and other. What we are doing especially with the system eBoost, we are generating more than 90% of our turnover. We are especially installed, as told before, in power generation units, industry production plants in all kinds, especially hotel and real estates. Our goal is to have the decision management, the condition monitoring, and the supervision of the plants. We are mainly not making investments for the companies in the infrastructure. We only do, for the first step, optimization of the existing facilities and of the existing plants. We reach out between 5, 7, 8%, and also in some highlight projects. We have reduced the gas consumption by 30 and 35% only to manage major installation problems, to recognize major installation problems. Especially in these kind of highlight projects, we have done a very, very effective job. What we are doing with the system, we do decisions, the system do decisions in 3 steps. Make proposals for the customer to do something to optimize the plant. It can also decide things and make proposals in semi-automation. And we also can drive the plant by, for example, by the weather forecast, or especially now by the stock exchange data coming with the energy prices from tomorrow. We can drive good generation units. We have also condition monitoring. It's not only the optimization of the energy consumption, what we are doing. We also have a strong look on the technical healthiness of the single assets. We can foresee once the asset needs to be repaired, once the asset needs to be controlled, and with the predictive maintenance part of our system eBoost, we are also saving a lot of costs and energy. And also, as obvious, visualization, control, and calculations can be done automatically. In general, we put a digital twin above the production and processes. This is the infrastructure we are running on basis of the system ignition, where we have installed our system and we are collecting all existing data, and we can install, if necessary, additional sensors like vibrations, like multimeters, like consumption sensors, and so on. I will show you now some highlight examples. We have, as a customer, a big cataphoresis and painting plant in the north of Italy. We have saved, since installation, continuously 25% of the energy consumption, like electrical power and natural gas. The company is driven by the stock exchange of tomorrow, with the energy prices of tomorrow in regard of gas and electricity, and the system is deciding, or I can produce my energy by myself with the CHP unit, or I can buy it. It depends which is less expensive. And we have also the complete supervision and control in regard of the technical assets. The same is with this kind. It's a single part production in mechanical engineering. We can tell the customer, and it's requested from the industry, how much energy is be used for one single part, and also mainly much more important, how much CO2 is the footprint for a single part. Especially in the automotive industry, the request is now strong on the market. We also have a lot of partners in the whole world. We are certified as a B Corporation since 2021. We moved to a 1-year certification process. We have UniCredit Startlab. We have in Bolzano some institution, and we have also a lot of customers and projects. Highlightly is the Deutsche Bahn, Italgas, and Industrie Informatik. We will grow like a tsunami in the next few years because the energy market is requesting these kind of instruments to reduce the consumption. And there you can see we are a complete independent system. We are not using specific hardware. We are using existing hardware. We are using only a device to bring the data of the single customers through the internet. The next growth program is just set up. We will hire a lot of people to fulfill the requests of the customers. And we have also some development projects now in-house. You can get the system eBoost also for single houses or little households to be also controlled there. And we will put also together with our control of electrical and heat power, the use of water, because it's also one of the biggest themes in the next years. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please contact me or ask now.
So our next startup is EnKoat. EnKoat is an energy efficient coating that can be applied to the exterior and interior of the existing building walls. A thin layer of EnKoat can replace a thick fiberglass insulation in the wall. Now we'll hear more details from Matthew, CEO of EnKoat.
So yes, thank you everyone for this opportunity. It's been a great conference presentation so far. Excellent address from the keynote. He kind of hits on what we're trying to do at EnKoat. So I'm Matt, a QiO co-founder and CEO. Me and my co-founder Shay, we are material scientists at heart. So listening to all these other startups, it's really great to get this overarching theme of how they're solving energy efficiency. And for us, we're doing it on the materials side. So before I actually get into how our thermal barrier roof coating is helping building owners, reduce operating expenses and enhance energy efficiency, I'd first like to talk about the problem. So we're all experiencing it. It's climate change, and climate change is leading to extreme temperatures, both on the hot as well as cold. It seems like heat waves are getting longer, and even cold waves are happening more often. This in turn leads to us as building owners, as energy consumers, to turn on our ACs when it gets too hot or turn on our heaters when it gets too cold. And this is compounded by the rapidly rising energy costs. Now, right now, if we just focus on Turkey, 1/3 of Turkey's total electricity demand is for buildings. This represents 37%. It is both commercial and residential, and it's because of fossil fuels. That's the predominant energy consumer. Then if we look at construction, by 2050, buildings are going to double in footprint, in size. This is a problem that needs to be solved in the most simplistic way possible. And that's where we've developed our thermal barrier technology. So our thermal barrier technology consists of these very special, highly adaptive thermal additives that we have optimized and engineered for a particular climate to both reduce the amount of heat that enters the building as well as shift that heat. So if you take a look at the graph, the green line, that would represent buildings with existing building products, whether that's a paint, that's a wall panel, that's just a building product that experiences this certain temperature flux throughout the day. Our thermal barrier technology, it actually flattens this curve. So the load management, the load shifting you heard earlier, this technology really is helping the building envelope so that it can be energy efficient all around. Now, our portfolio consists of roof coatings, panelized roofing wall systems, and exterior coatings. But, as a startup, we have to figure out which is the product that we can, make the biggest impact. And that would be our thermal barrier roof coating. So we're able to integrate our thermal barrier technology into this coating. And for those of you that don't know, roof coatings, they're a really good item to have on top of your roof because it acts as a continuous system. Think about, any leaks or holes, or if you can't, put any insulation on top, if you simply coat the top of your roof, what you're doing is you're creating this weatherproof barrier. You're actually restoring your roof, you're extending its service life. That makes it cost effective. You're not having to replace your entire roof to get these energy efficient benefits. It's simply just putting a coat on there. And it's scalable to most roofs. We have formulated it so that it can be applied, with regular traditional application methods, whether that's a roller or a sprayer. We've developed this technology using funding from the National Science Foundation and have worked with our partners at the Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratory to really identify that thermal performance that we can achieve, in these thin film systems. So what's the value proposition? As a building owner has this asset and they want to make it energy efficient, but sometimes building owners aren't willing to, pay that upfront cost. So with the roof coating, it's straightforward to, reduce those maintenance costs, weatherproof your structure, and energy efficiency starts with resiliency. So really, when you're looking at the envelope and our coating, we're able to reduce peak temperatures, which in turn reduces electricity consumption. Whenever you have, this sort of extra layer of protection on your building, you're actually extending the service life of that roof. You're not having to, replace it later on. And then maintenance costs are reduced. Your heating, your AC systems, these mechanical systems are having to work less. And ultimately with the climate resiliency, it's been shown that, roof coatings can in fact reduce the urban heat island effect. And if you're using less electricity consumption, then you're ultimately using you're actually producing less greenhouse gas emissions. Now, we've actually tested this and we're right now looking for stakeholders to, continue entering in the market, especially in Turkey, looking at your climate. It's similar to what we experience here in the United States in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a hot, dry climate. Temperatures can get upwards of 45 degrees Celsius during the summer months. So this project that we did, we actually coated 2 buildings, one with ours, and compared it against just a reflective white coating. And what we saw was over an entire year, we were able to reduce that heating and cooling demand by over 20%. And this is comparing our coating against an existing commercially available coating in the market. So what we have done is we've taken, these existing building products and given them added benefits. We've enhanced their properties in order to help us building owners be more energy efficient and help decarbonize our buildings. But we haven't done this alone. One way for us to really make an impact is understanding the technology side as well as the building side. So we've surrounded ourselves with a great team of advisors who have helped us do just that, focus on how do we create, a material product that can easily scale to buildings, and what is it that motivation for the building owner. And for us, it's energy efficiency, but it's also reducing operating expenses as well as their carbon footprint. And what I'd love from all of you is if you have a building or anything that you're trying to make more energy efficient, please reach out to us. We have a simple solution that is truly going to help mitigate the effects of climate change at scale, and it all starts with you. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to answering any questions you may have.
So moving forward, EnKoat was our final startup for today, and now we'll be moving on to the last part of our agenda. So our expert panel focused on the latest trends in energy efficiency. I am pleased to welcome Lale, our panel moderator, to the stage to introduce our panelists and kick off the session. Again, thank you all for joining us, and we hope you find the panel informative and insightful.
Thank you very much, Oktay. Well, hi again, it's me. So I'm back. Well, after all the incredible technology, startups, and an incredible keynote speech, we're now at our final session, and we'll have a panel discussion on the future of energy efficiency and the trends in energy efficiency. And we have 3 amazing speakers representing corporate startups and one in between. So we have a representative from our corporate partner Enerjisa, Mr. Sajid Akbaş. He's the Energy Solutions Director there. And we have Raul Aragones. He's the founder at AEInnova. It's a startup that also presented a few minutes ago. And we have Camilla Rizzi. She is an investor in sustainability in EMEA at Plug and Play. So welcome, everyone. Great to see all of you. So it would be great if you could just turn on your videos. Yes, great. Great to see everybody.
Hello, Lale. How are you?
Hiya. And so, well, basically, we have about half an hour to discuss your viewpoints on the future of energy efficiency and what's going on in the industry. Well, basically, I'll be asking questions to each one of you, but feel free to, jump into each other's conversations. There's no huge structure. We're just, it's just a friendly chat that we want to hear your point of views. I'll start with Mr. Sajid Akbash. Maybe you could tell, Sajid, you could tell us a little bit about your role at Enerjisa and maybe, touching on some of Enerjisa's recent efforts on energy efficiency. How about we start with that?
Yeah, sure. That sounds good. First of all, thanks for this invitation and opportunity, Lale and the entire Plug and Play team. It really has been a good event. And, I'm looking forward to the future events, hopefully, with you and, with your new guests. Yeah. At Enerjisa, we are offering, basically, customer solutions to our, our partners, basically mostly in renewable energy field and also energy efficiency areas. There are different topics that you can think of from, installing a PV power plant to, generation of electricity from, waste or even mud or, bioproducts. So we are offering basically a wide variety of solutions to the customers, and we basically tailor-make those solutions depending on the needs of our customers. To respond to your second part of your question, we are mostly dealing with, as I said, addressing the customer needs. And in order to be able to maximize the benefit that we are offering to our customers, we need to actually, invest in new technologies. That's, that's a must in this era. And one of the new technologies that we are offering right now is basically, monitoring programs that we are offering to our customers so that we can actually identify their main electricity consumption areas and basically analyze their patterns where they are wasting the energy. And we are trying to see if we can identify an efficient solution for them to basically improve their energy consumption. So in other words, the key word here is, I think, the digitalization, because we are basically converting every piece of information that we can collect from our customers into figures and numbers so that we can, read them, we can give a meaning to them. And basically, after making the analysis, we can offer an energy management solution to them. So that's a vital approach that we are, recently, developed with a partner company here at Enerjisa. And we are getting really very good feedbacks from our customers. And another area that I want to emphasize is, even though it's a rather old technology, the area that we are using is kind of new. The heat pump, installations. Heat pumps are with us maybe more than 100 years, so it's not a new technology. But applying these heat pumps in industrial scale is a new approach. And actually, we started to offer this as a solution to our, especially industrial customers, main factories, which are, giving enormous, figures that, really motivates us to invest further in these areas. One last thing that I want to really touch base in this round about the recent activities at Enerjisa is basically the heat capturing processes. That's also, waste heat capture is also an old technology, but now we are implementing it in the chimneys of the factories, where this heat is basically wasted and emission to the atmosphere. But we are now capturing it and converting it to electricity, which is a really new area that we entered as Enerjisa, and seeing really good outcome with those projects as well.
Okay, great. Incredible, initiatives happening, and hopefully you'll be telling even greater stories next year in our next year's discussion after working with us for a while. So we're looking forward to doing great things together. Maybe before I move on to the next speaker, I'd like to ask one more question. You worked Enerjisa, you've joined Enerjisa a few months ago, but you worked in the renewable energy industry for a long time. Maybe are there any trends that you want to highlight from the industry overall, not just from Enerjisa, but what's going on in the industry? Just anything, just a couple of things that are worth mentioning.
Yes, I mean, what I can mention is, what I like about energy efficiency is you always kill at least two birds with one stone. It's always, it's never one thing that you put in and basically, expect one outcome. Whatever we do is actually, reducing some of the disadvantages of the customer on one end, but also adding value on the outcome side. So it is always like, as I said, killing more than one bird with one stone. I will give some further details about this energy efficiency approach, and I will also would like to highlight on your second part of your question in my response. For example, I mentioned the heat pumps, right? I mean, in industrial scale, we just 2 weeks ago, we actually announced a kickoff with one of our partners, one of the major tire producers in Turkey, namely Brisa. They have 2 factories in Turkey, one in Izmit and in Aksaray. And in both factories, they are basically heating their water from the traditional steam boilers, which are not really efficient products at the end. But with the heat pumps that we are offering them, they are able to basically generate this run this heat pump with electricity. So they're increasing their electrification ratio by reducing their natural gas need and their dependence on natural gas, which is an important material, obviously. But the electricity, they can always generate their own electricity with different resources. So we are trying to basically increase their electrification ratio. But the nice thing about this is that we are also using the heat coming out of their cooling power. It is already there. They have a cooling tower, and they are already heating their water, and we are using the heat of that water in order to actually increase the efficiency of the system even further. So I mean, as I said, 2 products out of one solution is coming, and this is such a enormous project. Brisa will spend 5 million cubic meters less natural gas per year, and they are going to use 55,000 cubic meters less water annually. And this is going to be equivalent to about 2.5 billion Turkish lira net present value saving during the entire service life of the project. So that is really amazing numbers, amazing figures. And we are asking ourselves, why not we are offering this to, other customers, everybody in this area. This is a, common sense that we should implement and, build more projects like this. And in general about this, again, second part of your question, I mean, in general, I want to talk about the specifics about the Turkey, because as you know, we already signed the Paris agreement, and our industry players have to be competitive with their, foreign competitors whenever we come to like the carbon tax. Because we are exporting most of our materials to Europe, and at the border we will start paying carbon taxes starting 2026. And if the exporters in Turkey start paying that tax, they will not be competitive anymore. So in order to overcome this, everybody in this industry, it doesn't matter in which field they are operating, they have to turn green. They have to basically generate their electricity from green resources. And everything we are doing is actually supporting our customers to basically proceed in that direction.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for the insightful comments. Well, I see we've all been nodding to your comment. We pretty much we agree with everything, but I see Camilla nodding super enthusiastically. I feel like she has a few more things to add. Camilla, what do you see from your side? What's happening in Plug and Play amongst our clients? What kind of trends are you seeing?
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure. Yeah, I was agree perfectly on the monitoring and the heat pump side. I think that we have been seeing a lot of a broad range of useful solutions, especially for the hard to debate sectors such as cement, transportation, and so on. So I can just mention a list of a few solutions that we have been working with, especially also with the startups that we are looking into and the corporate partner we are collaborate with. In terms of just to referring to what we were saying before, I think it's very important the interconnection. The interconnection could be artificial intelligence solutions, software, blockchain, and algorithm that can manage the so-called distributed energy resources. I'm referring also to heat pump, but it could be any device that can generate electricity or heat at the place of its consumption. So for example, also solar panel or EV chargers. So we have been seeing a lot of these solutions in order to make the grid more decentralized, decarbonized, and digitalized, especially for the digitalization. I think it's playing a very important role since it can gather and analyze data before even using it. So I think all these backend solutions will play a very fundamental role. Interconnection also play another role for another solution that already had a very important role in the past. I'm speaking about renewables, so wind and solar. We are seeing that the price of these solutions are cheaper and cheaper compared to the fossil fuel, for example. But now the problem with these renewable solution is more the interconnection, the lack of transmission capacity, because there is this need to speed up the project in order to adopt this renewable solution. Another aspect with renewables, of course, that we have seen a lot is energy storage solution in order to overcome the intermittency characteristics of renewables. However, I can also mention, of course, green hydrogen. Hydrogen is the most abundant chemical element in our world, and when it is burned, it doesn't emit any planet-warming gases. So we are really looking a lot into this green hydrogen solution that is, of course, made by splitting water through an electrolysis using, of course, just the renewable energy. I think it can play a very important role since it can be used into different sector and different aspect. For example, as a feedstock for fertilizer and chemical, it could be a source of heat. It could be a fuel for heavy transport. So it can play a very important role, for example, for shipping. But it can also be used when we use ammonium, for example. So the carrier, we can transport these solutions using the existing infrastructure that it can be, for example, the natural gas pipeline. So we think it could be very important, but what it will be that important is also the government support, since producing, transport, and storing hydrogen is still expensive solutions, but we are getting there. And finally, I can also, as we were mentioning before, mention carbon capture storage, since we think that really all the activity, industrial activity and buildings must be supported by this point source or direct air capture. And we can also think about a new and more disruptive solution that is gathering more and more funding. For example, it will be also quantum computing, for example, that will develop new energy solution to increase even more the energy efficiency.
Yeah. I mean, the speed of things in this field, it's incredible. Every time we talk about, any kind of energy related field, I realize the speakers have new terminology added. And so things change so much, and I guess we're lucky to be able to follow up with the stuff. Like it's a super exciting area to be in. So yeah, let's see where the future is going to take us towards. Thank you, Camilla. Well, Raul, it's your turn right now. So you've listened to the presentations, you've listened to the speakers, and you represent the startups in the ecosystem. And by the way, congratulations on AEInnova. It's an incredible startup. We listened to the pitch. So just a personal question, maybe, why did you start to find AEInnova? What motivated you? What were you seeing in the field?
So thank you very much for this opportunity to introduce AEInnova and our team.
Pleasure.
AEInnova was born in 2013. So AEInnova was, in fact, it is a spin-off of the microelectronics department of the Autonomous University of Barcelona. So we are I'm PhD in microelectronics, and part of the founders team comes from the perspective of the energy. Let me introduce, because AEInnova has been collaborating more than the previous of the foundation, more than 50 years with the European Agency of Space. And in the space is longly used the heat as a source of energy. So deep space missions of NASA like Galileo, Cassini, New Perseverance rover, Voyager 1, Voyager 2, and all the rovers that are surfacing Mars are fully powered by heat, not by PV panels. So when you are very far from the sun, for example, when you are in Mars or Jupiter, the sun is just a dot in the sky, and you cannot harvest energy from this point. So you cannot generate electricity to power your space mission. This is an issue. For example, when you are in Mars, you have a lot of sandstorms, and the first landing mission of NASA, that was Viking, just landed the rover in 2001, and in the first day they supported a very dramatic sandstorm that covered all the PV panels, and the mission lasts 1 day and cost $1,500 million. So that means when you are exploring a space, you are moving to other energy sources. In this case, you're using heat from plutonium heat sources and also thermoelectrics, like this element that is able to convert heat into electricity. What AEInnova did at this moment is, okay, so we have a long experience with European Agency of Space of converting heat into electricity. Why not to create a reliable solution for the industry? Because just in the European Union, practically the fifth part of our energy needs is lost in form of industrial waste heat. That means that these very big demanding industries like the iron and steel, chemical, paper, more or less, they lose 2/3 parts of their costs in form of heat. So if the heat is there, why not to use a technology that's able to recover this heat? And in this case, we created with our university an international patent that is accepted in US, Canada, and European Union that makes reliable big energy generation from the heat. And this journey began in 2014. Repsol Oil Foundation, that has invested in innovative technologies like clean tech, invested in our company. Also, the EAT InnoEnergy invested at that moment, and we began this unknown project that with the aims of transforming industry into more sustainable. From this point to now, several agencies of the European Commission, that means LIFE from CINEA and H2020 for AESMEA, invested in the solution, paying us the R&D until we reach several levels of maturity. For example, from the waste heat recovery systems. Let me see. I think the micro is running. Okay, let me see. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is the first pre-commercial equipment. It will be ready in a couple of years more. But this equipment is a first waste heat recovery system that is modular, and it's able of generating 40 watts of power by working at 350 degrees Celsius. So imagine a chimney, you plug this element inside, and just the pass of the gases allows you to generate electricity. We have several approaches. This is one for round chimneys and pipelines. But for example, we have one that is for flat surfaces, that you touch basically the surface of a furnace, and we're able to generate 540 watts per square meter. This is 3 times higher than a PV panel that generates 180 watts per square meter in a Gaussian response. So in this case, more or less, PV panel generates power maximum from 12 p.m. to 2-3 a.m. To 3 p.m. So 3-4 hours of maximum performance. This equipment is generating 24 hours a week, a day, all the flat generation of 500 watts. What happens at the solution right now that is reliable in the space due to the perspective of the payback is not right now in the industry because it has more than 30 years of payback. So we are now in this investment round basically to make this solution economically reliable because technologically reliable it is, but it's a question of also of reducing costs. And in this journey, we decided in 2017 to make a slow version, a low-cost version of this just for the autonomous vibration. In this sense, AEInnova right now, it's considered by the European Commission Innovation Radar, the UK innovator in autonomous sensors. So we make an spread of sensors that are mainly autonomous from the energy perspective, and we created the first vibration monitoring system. This is the equipment that is commercial. It is certified to operate in explosive areas. You attach to have just attaching to hot surfaces. You have a constant voltage of 5 volts, and this power advanced edge computing devices like this. So this is a industrial computer that is able to read data from a spread of sensors, mainly vibration sensors, and this system sends data verified using long-range wireless. But for example, we have other solutions, like I've shown before. This to monitor, for example, vibrations in ventilators in the ceiling of the tunnels. This is is also patented. This is a very low friction micro wind turbine that powers a family of IT devices from our part that are attached to any kind of ventilators in the ceiling and allows to monitor in real time how is vibrating this ventilator in order to predict how is the lifetime of this machine. This travels to our cloud platform and you are able to monitor in real time, more or less. Real time means every 15 seconds you have data of these systems. Just for taking a simple example, the subway of Barcelona has 1,000 ventilators in the ceiling. Okay, they monitor them manually one by one every 15 days. They have done a complete route trip and they take the vibration notes in a piece of paper. This is what is happening right now in all the subways worldwide, but also in the highways, in mining. The solution is completely plug and play. You touch it, and in a couple of seconds, you connect the gateway to the cloud and system operates. So we can innovate. The European Union wants that in 2030, the majority of the IoT devices must be powered by energy harvesting. We don't have enough lithium batteries, enough lithium in the world to power these numbers that says Statista or McKinsey of 5 trillion of IoT. So we cannot power these sensors by lithium battery. Lithium is very contaminant, it's very rare material, but also the cobalt that is extracted in Congo, like practically in semi-slave conditions to the employees, to the people. So we cannot support this, and Europe cannot support this. So battery must be basically used for powering electric vehicles and energy power banks for in-house and industrial uses, but not for powering IoT devices.
Raul, sorry, I missed that part. Are you saying lithium is an unsustainable way of?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just for creating 1 kilogram of lithium, you need 1,000 kilograms of salts of the lithium, more than 5 decamegas cubics of water to purify the lithium, more than 5 gigajoules of heat for transforming the salts of lithium into lithium. But also the sensors that the IT sensors are in the market uses one shot, so not rechargeable lithium batteries. That clearly from the usage go to the trash, to the bin. They are not recycled. That means when generating wastes. But also for creating 1 kilogram of cobalt, you need 1,000 kilograms of rocks of cobalt. And this has a very impactful for the climate change. So we generate a lot of dust, a lot of rubbish, a lot of material are wastes. And finally, in this lifetime of the process, these lithium batteries are not recycled. The only one that are recycled are that like typically are in the cars. So battery packs of cars are easy to recycle. They can disconnect it, they can recycle the modules, the cells, but from this kind of lithium batteries like Buton lithium batteries or the typical 16850 that are long piles of lithium battery, they are not recycled. So if the heat, if the electricity, if the sun, if the wind is in the facility, is in the environment, why not to power these sensors that are maintenance free and are very environmental free, but also allows you to create negative carbon. That means your solution contributes to decarbonize your industry. So you can compensate your carbon permits. You contaminate, you pollute with your carbon permits, you pay for taxes to the European Commission, but if you incorporate solutions that are net zero, you are able to compensate your rights and you pay less for the European Commission.
Maybe if I don't know if you're done, I'd like to quickly move on in the sake of time, quickly move on to the next part that I wanted to really ask you about your view of what's going on in the startup scene, like in your field. Do you feel the vibrancy? Do you think things are improving, happening, like more solutions are coming? What's your feeling about your field? Raul, that's also for you. Yeah.
Well, I must say that
just to add to that, actually, and the second follow-up on that, and how do you think about corporates, working with corporates? Are they also more enthusiastic? Yes. And how easy or difficult is it for you to work with them?
So my clear opinion, we have been working with big corporates like Repsol, Enel, EDF, Cepsa, and they have created what they call commonly open innovation departments and so on. That are very cool. And sometimes this kind of departments try to incorporate from startups a lot of a spread of innovations. But this kind of new departments, open innovation departments, has not the force to make that the company finally, what ends the process of this testing of these solutions, adopt the solution. So from my point of view, big corporates are very enthusiastic testing new technologies, but they must fight with their internal structures to make that once this solution has been tested, make the solutions being adopted by the company. Because sometimes my opinion of creating clean tech technologies is that sometimes it seems like to be a greenwashing. So they make a lot of noise in the social media, blah, blah, blah, is adopting the most advanced battery-less systems, a lot of pictures, a lot of reports, awards, but when this process of venturing ends, nothing happens. So the internal structure of the company doesn't understand or doesn't want to change things that is going at the same level of adoption as always. They don't want to incorporate new solutions. And it's a question of reputation. So sometimes we are doing B2B. So our big companies needs to adopt new solutions, but they are a bit aware of, will this startup be alive 2 years later to maintain my solutions? And this awareness is complicated to maintain because they want to have innovation in the facilities, but also control the risk of adopting new solutions. And this is a things that might be balanced to facilitate that new technologies are reliable to be here. In our case, we are very kind and very keen to have the European Commission as investor in the EAC fund that gives to our customers the tranquility that knows that this company is being here to last a lot of years, and you have to be very peaceful about adopting solutions like us are reliable in the long term. But this is, from my perspective, has been really challenging for a startup. So creating the adequate confidence to the big stakeholders that we are giving solutions and they are reliable and long term.
Okay, so your enthusiasm in the field is not really met by the corporates. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. Good to know. So, Camila, one question for you again. You're seeing a lot of our startups as well as our corporates. So, what's your view on the trends amongst the startups?
Yeah, so I think that as Raul was saying, a lot of corporate are really interested to see new technology. And I think any technology that can even more reduce the cost of solar and wind or increase the capacity of energy storage are very interesting to the corporate. We are collaborating a lot with the corporates from the renewable side, from the hydrogen side, and also the energy side in general to try to create this bridge with different type of startups. Also because in order to create this long-term solution that we were mentioning before, I think that it's important to create to find where the startup can fit better with the need of corporate. So just to do an example of the solution that we were mentioning before, we were collaborating with one of the startups that is producing this backend solution for managing better the EV charger, for example, or other distributed energy resources. And they are collaborating with one of the corporate that is Total Energy, which is one of the larger energy company in France. And they were really able to find this matching among their needs, because traditional retailers and also utilities operate of a massive scale and with limited transparency on their power that they buy and sell. So in this case, these startups were able to control theirs and control especially the consumption that the consumers will effectively needs, because usually Total Energy, for example, do not know how to manage the real consumption of their clients, and this will lead to a higher cost. So the startup that we selected for them will be able to register all the users and forecast through their platform and backend solution the future consumption, in order to provide them the recommendation to be integrating into the energy providers platform, in order to also reduce their cost and increase their energy. But also another example would be for the lithium battery, since we were also mentioning that. We also collaborate and try to source for a big renewable energy company some startups that were able to recycle batteries, not just electric vehicles batteries, but lithium battery in general, in order to produce for this corporate the battery energy storage. Of course, also because of what we were mentioning, there are some, in this case, some issue that will need to be also forecast in terms of regulation, for example, for the transportation of these recycling batteries, since the startup were based in European Union, while the corporate were based in India. But with the right solution for the corporate, we are sure that there is the possibility to create a long-term solution and overcome these issues and possible greenwashing.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Well, in this interest of time, I'll ask my last question to Sajid Akbaş. Sajid, maybe you can mention some of the projects going on, like what kind of POC opportunities are there with startups? How are you working with startups at Enerjisa? Could you give us some examples?
Yeah, sure. I will keep it really short. But first of all, I wanted to say that I hear Raul. Okay, I mean, he's not only enthusiastic, but also there are some frustration in the in the lines. I understand him. I agree with him. But I can maybe tell him the main challenge, in the corporate world. Okay, research and development teams or maybe strategy teams are very eager to, for these new innovations to counterpart with the startups. But at the end of the day, boards are looking at the profit. So, I mean, that's the same thing with startup solutions, unfortunately. But there's always a way. I mean, even though it might not be easy all the time, there's always a way. And at Enerjisa, we are really trying to overcome those challenges. To be able to do that, we are not only concentrating on one area or two areas. We are, really searching for different opportunities, different platforms to find startups, or even allow the startups to reach us. And Plug and Play is a good example that we are already start cooperating this year. But we already reached initiated over 70 initiatives, 3 of which are already at NDA signing stage. So that's really a good development. We also have some other platforms that we have been a partner like Istanbul Technical University's Big Bang program. Our first contribution was started in 2017, and since then we have provided over 1 million Turkish lira cash support to about 20 startups. so that they can develop their ideas and bring it to the later stages of the product. Another platform that we are using is actually developed by Enerjisa distribution companies. That's actually, I think showing how we are determined and how we are eager to invest in this area. It's called İvme, and for the non-speaking Turkish, non-Turkish audience here, İvme means acceleration in Turkish. So we really want to accelerate the solutions that we are, facing everyday life as the distribution companies, and try to, basically generate solutions with the help of the, the startups and, their innovative ideas. Since 2015, we have been cooperated with more than 30 startups in that sense, and basically continuing this every year. And the last one is basically we are keeping this for our internal organization. We are basically kind of pushing our employees to come with new ideas. We started a program called NAR, or again for non-Turkish audience, it's called Pomegranate. It is generating a lot of ideas out of a culture, out of an organization. And again, for the last 7-8 years, we have received like more than 2,000 ideas from our own employees, and 40 of them are proceeded into the next stages. So what I would really ask or request from the startups to be patient in this process. To be basically patient enough to walk with us, because we are not just leaving them alone outside. We are eager to cooperate with them, and we are trying to basically give our opinions and strengthen the product for the end user, because we know our customers probably more better than startups, but the startups know new technologies better than us probably. So there's a really good opportunity to counterpart here, and let's take it step by step, take it to the next stage, and make it a demonstration day. A POC, proof of concept, so that basically we can show to the real world that we are accepting the real world challenges. Okay, we are accepting those challenges, and we are ready to improve ourselves. We are ready to improve our products, just to be basically increase and maximize our benefit cost ratio, so that we can convince our boards to invest in these startups in the future.
Perfect. Well, that was a great discussion. Very, very informative. I've learned a lot from all of you. Thank you so much. But just to summarize, you've mentioned, well, the agreed point is that there is a lot going on in the fields. So everybody is working very hard to keep up. There are some differences in terms of speed. Yes, startups a little faster, corporates a little slower, but definitely catching up. And when that meeting point happens, I'm really looking forward to it. There's hopefully we'll be alive by then. But yeah, there's going to be so much. I'm excited about the future. Thank you so much, guys. Very nice to meet you. And
a pleasure to collaborate.
Refer the stage back to İdil to say bye. And I'll also say bye. Have a good day.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining our
Pleasure
meetup.
to invite us to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking your time.
A pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for joining our meetup today. We will have plenty of upcoming events in the near future, and you can follow them by subscribing our newsletter from Plug and Play website. And you can always reach out to us if you have any questions, comments, or feedback. Thank you again, and see you soon. Bye.